welcome back to an ordinary episode of the CamijoKnit podcast. Today it is Thursday, July 4th. So happy 4th of July to those of you celebrating that. It has been 4 weeks since I did a regular podcast because 2 weeks ago Lars and I went to Scotland. So instead of doing a normal knitting episode from my office, I did a traveling vlog. So I think I will just, to those of you who are interested in our trip, I think I'll just talk a little bit about that in the end of this episode. So we can focus mainly on knitting and yarn for the main part of the program podcast. And then if you're interested in whatever is going on in my life, you can stay tuned and I'll talk a little bit about other plans in my life for the summer and also our trip to Scotland. But I'll just say that if you're interested, I did a vlog about the trip to Scotland, and we had an amazing time in Scotland. We were there for 6 days. So I will put a little video up here for you so you can open that and save that for later, and you can watch that after this episode if you want to. But anyway, welcome to this episode number 86. I am coming to you today in a rainy, it's supposed to be summer, but Denmark is not even close to being summer weather. It's raining, it's cold, and we had some beautiful weather in May. I don't know what happened. But anyway, let's talk about knitting. I am wearing my Banyal sweater in the pink lemonade and undyed silk mohair. I showed you this the last time. I had an unfinished sleeve. Now it is completely done, and I have worn this sweater to numeral events already. It didn't grow as much when I blocked it as I wanted it to. It's still pretty fitted, but I actually don't mind for the summer that it's a little bit more fitted, and it just looks cute with skirts and jeans and stuff. But I just wanted to show you the finished product. I am still completely in love with this colorway. I actually realized that that these colder tones are pretty flattering on me. So I think I'll be diving more into that type of colors in the future. I made myself a huge cup of coffee. It's actually my coffee number 2, but I didn't finish the first one completely, which is the theme in my life, drinking half a cup of coffee and leaving the rest because it gets cold. This is a mug from one of my favorite ceramics that's located near my summer house. In my summer house, I have these mugs without these little bumps. They're just plain. But I was just back there last month for the weekend with some friends. And we went to visit Dorte Hansen's Keramik Cafe. And I just thought I needed a mug for my home, so I don't only have the mugs at the summer house. But anyway, yes, the Banyal sweater is completely done. I used 3 skeins of the CamijoKnit sock base in the colorway Pink Lemonade, and also 3 skeins of the undyed silk mohair. And it's all in stock. The Pink Lemonade sold out pretty fast, so I just dyed some more. And yeps, they are in stock, so you can knit one as well if you want to. I will take this off and change into something a little bit more cooler, because even though it's not summer, it's not sweater weather inside my office anyway. So I'll just change. Actually, I was going to just put on a t-shirt, but then I thought, why not put on this mega stripe sweater that I finished for my oldest daughter, Nomi. She picked out these colors. She was very picky when it came to choosing the colors for her mega stripe sweater. And as you can see, even though this is the smallest size in the mega striped sweater, it fits me because it's supposed to be very oversized. As you can tell, it's not that oversized on me, but I actually kind of look like this not as oversized look on an oversized person. But anyway, she was totally indecisive on colors. She wanted like a navy blue, but whatever navy I dyed, she thought they were too purple. And then I dyed this one for her, and she thought that was the one she wanted, and then she didn't know. And then finally she decided on this green, and I call this Fern Forest. And I actually think I only have one skein left, but I will dye more. And if there's a colorway that you want that is either sold out or that there is not enough skeins, let me know. I can always make sure to dye yours first, because usually I'll just dye in whatever order I think. So it's not that it's the most urgent ones I dye first. It all depends on what's in stock. And if you are just waiting and waiting and waiting for me to dye the color, and sometimes it never happens because I change my mind and do something else, let me know. That's just the short version. If there's a color that is sold out, let me know. I can dye it for you. Anyway, Nomi picked out the undyed white mega mohair and the forest fern, or fern forest colorway in the mega mohair for her mega stripe sweater. And I love her look, and she has been so cute. We have been watching football. We call it football here. Because there's been like a European championship in football, and these two colors are just totally like the the football field. So she's been sitting there with her sweater looking all cute and totally football fan like. So yeah, she's been wearing it. I didn't block it yet. I will block it to lengthen it a little bit. I will not block the arms lengthwise because they're, as you can tell, very long. But I will get out of this sweater because this is even more warm than the other one. I just thought it would be fun for you to see how it looks on a person instead of me just holding up this sweater. And Nomi came home really late last night, so there's no way I'm gonna wake her up and make her model, and she would never even agree to that anyway. But let me put on something cooler and let's talk a little bit more about this design. Okay, I am back with messy hair, and anywho, this design I did earlier this year. I think it came out, I don't even remember when it came out, not that long ago. And the first version I did, Esther picked out the colors, which was Come on Barbie, Let's Go Party, which was like a pink, I'll put a picture here, and an undyed. And then Tina made one in like an army green called Hunter and Off-White. I'll put a picture of her here. And I just think that these two versions really show how different an outcome you get with your color choices. So Tina's has a much more defined stripe, and Esther's is more soft and summery, and I like both. And then Nomi's with this more greenish green compared to Tina's. Tina's is more Hunter Army, and Nomi is so much more like true green. I really like this green color. I think I'll add more. I think I will dye more bases in this fern forest. And it's this sweater, the Mega Stripe sweater, is such an easy knit and fast. So if you're a beginner knitter, or if you have a daughter or a niece or someone you know that's just a beginner knitter that want to try to knit a garment, but maybe explaining them how to do raglan is still a little bit too early. This is just such an easy construction because you cast on all the stitches for the front and then you knit your stripes. So you just teach them knitting and purling, so beginner friendly. And then you pick up stitches on the back and you can help them do that. And then they do the same thing. And then you teach them to knit in the round. So it's just the perfect little project, and you can learn all these beginner techniques. And when you knit the sleeves, you pick up stitches and you knit in the round. And for this, you can either teach them, of course, to do the magic loop. I would always prefer to teach beginners magic loop because they don't think it is as hard as a very experienced knitter who has never done magic loop, compared to knitting on sock needles, which I would never do anymore. Not because I think it's hard, but because I always drop the spare needle. So you can either teach the magic loop, or as I always do, get a shorter wire and just knit in the round, because that way you don't have to do anything remotely difficult. And you do a smaller number of decreases, and I always mess up with the decrease and the increase. And Lisa, my friend from Spain, taught me this beautiful trick how I could tell the difference. I forget all the time. When you increase something, it gets bigger, and when you decrease something, it gets smaller, right? Yeah, so you decrease a little bit on the sleeves. And that's it. So it's really, really, really easy. For this small size, the smallest size, because it's not small, but it fits extra small to large, I think, or medium large. And you can see, even though I'm usually an extra large, this fits me as well. So kind of go with how much positive ease you want, more than focusing on the size. That goes for every time you knit a sweater. I have sweaters in different sizes, and they just, like I said in the last episode, you can wear your oversized sweaters in the winter when you have lots of layers, and the tighter ones in the summer when you don't have that many layers, or just style them differently. So really check the circumference, not the size. Anyway, beginner friendly, cute. For Nomi, I closed it a little bit more here in the neckline, and she wants me to close it even more. She doesn't want that to be very open. On Esther's, I close it a little bit more than what the pattern says, but still it's open enough for her to have it like over her shoulder and be like cutie cute. So you can style that differently, and it's so easy to just turn this inside out, and with a needle and a thread, gonna wind up that. You just kind of sew a little bit more, and you can't tell, so it's fine. You can experiment with that a little bit more, or even if you know beforehand, you just, when you pick up stitches for the back, pick up more stitches, cast on less stitches, pick up more stitches, and that way you can adjust the gap. So that is really easy to adjust, even before and after. You need a skein and a half of each color. So if you have a friend, you can share 3 of each color. Easy. So that was the mega stripe sweater that I finished for Nomi, and she loves it. I just need to block it. So for a long time, I have been wanting to knit myself a new version of the Yellow Lichen on Rock shawl. Not new version as a new version of the pattern, just new version as a new color choice. And I must say that's one of the shawls that I return to a lot. I just shared on Instagram the other day that I did 3 Yellow Lichen on Rock shawls already. The original one, which is done in La Bien-Aimée yarn, and the second one was just made out of my my scraps. My English this morning is like rusty. I think it's because I went to Scotland, and that accent over there was just kind of messing with my head a little bit. Anyway, the second one I did was only from scrap yarns and only single ply yarns, and the third one I did was with yarn from Hugh Loco, and that I gifted that to Nomi's host mom in Chicago. Nomi was an exchange student, and she lived there. She was the second host family, and I knit her a shawl as a gift. And bonus info, Nomi was so excited because her host brother from Chicago is actually going to be studying in Copenhagen next semester. So he will be living in Denmark from January till May, and Nomi and Noah were just the best friends, like best friends when she was living there. So we are all just so excited that he's going to stay in Denmark for 6 months. Oh, anyway, that was just something that I thought of. Anyway, I have been wanting to do another version of the Yellow Lichen on Rock shawl. Maybe I should just put a picture of the shawl up here for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. And usually when I just walk around the showroom and I have all my yarns on display, sometimes it's just, what about this color? I really like this color. And for a long time, I thought I was going to do a version using my, what is that called? Aubergine? Is it just called dark aubergine? That's one of my favorite colors, and I have never knit anything with it. Ah, that's not true. I did like a wrap. Is it called the Saturday Shrug? I did in that colorway. I don't have that here. I think it's at the studio. Anyway, but then I changed my mind because I did a new colorway and I fell in love with that colorway. I only have it like a little cake, and I call this one Pillow Talk. It is inspired by a pillow that I bought. Some of you might have seen the pictures on Instagram. And I wanted to use this. You can see it's like a nude faded pink almost, with some pink and apricot speckles and some charcoal speckles. So I wanted to go from very pale pink to this, and I wanted to use my scallop shell mohair. I have used that a lot. That's one of my favorite colors. And this is my progress so far. I hope I did not stop in the middle of, yes, of course I stopped in the middle of the row, making this impossible to show you guys, but maybe if I just do like this. So I start out with a solid color of the scallop shell in the bottom, and then I add the Pillow Talk. You can see some of those black specks show up, and they get more intense here as I fade out the first one. So it's a fade, right? You have 3 colors and you fade from one to the other to the next. And on top of that, you choose a silk mohair. And usually, but the idea behind the design was to pick out a silk mohair that was like contrasting with the fade. But for this, I didn't do that. I just kind of chose the same color as the bottom one, which is the scallop shell. And I wanted this to kind of fade it all out so that it was a fade, but not sharp, more muted. So even here, when I'm starting to use the very dark gray, the asphaltus, you can tell that it's not as sharp. It's a little sharper, but anyway. But it has the silk mohair on top. So this is what I've been working on, and I like it. I really love this color, and the most enjoyable part about this show is that there's been no rush, because it doesn't have a purpose except just showing another version of the shawl, choosing another color combination. I think it will mainly live around my neck in the wintertime or at the studio, and of course it's always a great way for me to show off my own yarn and my own designs together when I go to yarn events. And as soon as July is over and August starts, I will have shows all the rest of the year. I have 2 shows in August and 2 shows in September, and 1 in October and November. So you can, if you're interested in seeing where I vendor this year, you can go to my website, and there's a whole calendar full of events. Anyway, so there's no rush with the shawl, and I just, it's so meditative. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's really a shawl that I enjoy to knit, because you just knit. There's no purling, you just knit. And the fun part is the fade. So every now and then you change the colors, and also you keep these slip stitches. So there's a little bit of a variety, but it's not so much that you can't watch TV and chill at the same time. So this has been like a project like this for me would usually be something that I have besides another project, but right now it's my main project, and it's so stressless. And I like to do this for myself in the summertime, not to have deadlines concerning a design or anything, but just give myself free, set myself free to knit whatever I want and not have any stressing deadlines. So I have really been enjoying knitting on this, and I suppose it won't take me that long until I finish. And I can also tell that I have the right project when I'm not constantly looking for something else to knit on. And I'm not. When I have this, I just knit on this, and I like it. But I did cast on a pair of socks because I finished my last pair. I don't even remember what it was, but I don't remember what I was knitting at all. Anyway, I cast it on in my mushroom of May, which is the lion's mane. And I think I'm going to do a fade. So I started with the dark one, the dark mini, and then I will do the less dark mini. And then in the end, I will do the main skein. And I haven't completely decided yet how to fade this. I will come up with a plan, so I'm sure that I have enough for sock number 2. So I think I'll just do like 20 rounds of ribbing, and then I don't know, maybe 5 rounds, and then I'll find out a way to fade from one to the other. Or if I'm too lazy, I'll just do stripes. That's an option. I actually like stripes as much as I do a fade. So maybe I'll just do a block and then another block and then do this. I actually think I'll do that now that I think about it, and not have to worry about fading anything. I keep this in one of my first project bags that I ever made with my auntie, in this gorgeous corduroy with roses that I can't get anywhere. I've been looking and I can't find this fabric. So if you find this fabric anywhere, or something remotely close, let me know. I'll have a sip of my coffee. I just yesterday shipped out all the mushrooms of July. I picked out a very bright pink mushroom. I thought for July I wanted something summery and fun and bright, and I found the perfect mushroom, and I dyed it last week. I think my cousin Adrian came and helped me. And it turned out so good. It is so, I know I say that every time, but I think this one and the lion's mane so far are my favorites. And yeah, I need to finish these socks on the lion mane colorway, and so I can gift myself a set of the new mushroom and have that on my needles. But that won't happen because I'm not going to finish these right now anyway. The last project that I'm going to share with you is in here. I have shared this before, and I even thought I was done, and I just realized it was because I was too lazy that I kind of convinced myself that it was done, because it really wasn't. Let me show you the progress so far. So for those of you who don't know, this is a gift. It is a like a cozy memories blanket of squares that I'm knitting for my brother and his girlfriend, and she just turned 50, and I convinced myself that it was big enough and I could gift this for her on her 50th birthday, but I was fooling myself apparently, because this is how long it is. So I want it to be wide. It's pretty wide. I don't know how wide it is, but as you can tell, it's this wide. And I just tried to convince myself that 5 squares was long enough, so it would be like this for my kitten. It's way too small. So I was just tired of working on this. But then I convinced myself to at least do another row, and then maybe one more row after that, but who knows. I will start with this one row. I did this yesterday and I'm working on this one. And because it's summer and because I don't have any deadlines, this just feels amazing. The only thing is, and I really don't understand why, because when I'm knitting on my shawl, I don't get any tensions on my neck or anything. As soon as I'm working on this blanket, it's like my neck hurts and I get a headache. And I do not understand why, because it's the same needle size. This is a size 4. What is that, US 6? Maybe I should learn that by now. Yes, US 6. But I don't know if it's because it's heavy and I lift it a little bit around to knit, and then I lift it again and turn around to knit. That actually makes sense. But do you have anything like that? Does any knitting projects give you more tensions in your neck than other projects? And can you help me figure out why this gives me such a headache? The first time I thought it was just a coincidence, that it was just because I didn't have enough water or whatever, but no. I was knitting on this last night and the same thing happened. Anyway, I am knitting on, as I said, a US 6 4mm needle. I cast on 23 stitches this way and 23 stitches that way. I am using a fingering weight or swatch weight held with a silk mohair. I have lost a stitch here. Oh no, good. Oh, I thought it was with a silk mohair, or every now and then I've just used a DK weight like this one or this one, and it doesn't matter as long as your gauge is somewhat the same. But because you kind of pick up stitches into every corner, it'll just stretch a little bit more. If the gauge is too small, it'll just stretch. So it's not super important that I guess you can tell that some of the squares might be a tiny bit bigger than others. I use whatever leftovers I have. Scrap yarns. I don't think I have anything hand dyed in here. Not any of my own hand dyed, at least. I just really wanted to give them something nice, and I also at the same time really wanted to get rid of so much of my yarn that is such a waste if I don't use all these gorgeous scraps. Yeah, so I just put whatever colors I want in this huge basket. Grays, neutrals, pink, purple, peachy, yellow. Nothing green, nothing blue. You can do whatever you want. But I like 4 scrappy blankets. In order for them not to be too crazy, I like to do either like a color theme or add the same color mohair as I did on my granny stripe blanket that I've shown a million times and that I will not show you now. I have seen so many Cozy Memories blankets and people use whatever scraps, and even within the same square they would use different scraps. And power to you, do whatever you like. I just don't love that. It can get a little bit too crazy. But then at the same time, I did a corner to corner crochet blanket using all my single ply merinos, and that is crazy because I just used any color. And even though it's crazy in colors, I love that blanket. So do whatever makes you happy. Well, but that is all that is going on my needles right now. At least that is what is going on my needles right now that I am working on actively. And it feels good. I have a sock design idea on some DK stripy socks that I think I will be picking out soon, and just have that as a little fun project to do notes and have just something to be working on during the summer. Then I am, because it's summer, Lars is gone most of the summer. Girls have plans in and out of the house all the time. I have decided, I found this beautiful bed cover that I want to sew. So today, hopefully today, Tina and I are going to the fabric place. I don't know what that's called. To pick out fabric for my cover. And it's like a patchwork, but it's like not really a patchwork. I think maybe I can find a picture and show you here my inspiration, and I think I'll do some other colors and maybe another size, but that's the inspiration right here is what I want to do. And we'll go pick out a fabric. Wait, I love that. And I think just in August I will think that over the summer here in July I will cut out all the fabric and put like little numbers on them so that that's all sorted. And then in August I'll have some few days alone because the girls are both attending this huge musical festival and I'm alone. And then I'll just, bring home my sewing machine. I think I'll actually take it home. I don't think Tina's home will be working in August anyway, so I'll be at the place alone. So I think I'll bring my sewing machine home and just have mom time and sew and make this blanket and just, you know, have a few days of just me time. And that sounds good. And so I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be my summer project. And also I will be finishing, I hope I'll be finishing some of my Japanese embroidery called sashiko. I have some sashiko small projects that I'm working on that I'll finish. But maybe during the summer I'll do a little summer vlog with all this stuff that I'm working on. And of course during the summer I will be at the studio, but just not as much. I'm working on advents. I'm so excited about advents. I did the first 6 colors. I have picked out around 26 fairy tales, so I can kind of go back and forth in deciding. So right now I have dyed 6 colors, and I look at those and I said, what kind of color would go good with this? And then I find a fairy tale that I think will match. And sometimes it's vice versa. Sometimes I will pick a fairy tale and I'll dye the colors that inspires me, and then I'll see, wow, this is beautiful. What kind of color would go beautiful with this? So I'm trying to do an order of the 24 minis so that when you knit them in that order, it will look good. It will not be a fade. I don't think I'll ever do a fade for advents. I think what I like the best is to set myself free so I can dye whatever, and you can use your 24 minis in whatever way you want. Some people will use some of them for one project and some for another project, and some will order the 24 minis and just put them in another order. I have seen people do that, and they can turn them into a fade, and that is beautiful. I've seen that happen. And also I have seen Cherie from Bella, Ollie and Bella podcast. She did a beautiful anthropology throw using my advents from last year, and she did them in the order of the advent, and that was gorgeous as well. So it's not a fade, but I will try to make them in an order that I think will look beautiful when they're done. Something like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying dyeing all the advents, and and also just diving into the fairy tales, and it brings back so many memories from my childhood. I have found my own book from when I was a child and all the pictures from that book. So all these pictures bring back so many memories for me. So it's travel back in time, and yeah, it's just so much fun. And I have the girls help me. I twist all the minis, of course, but they help me wrap them. And yeah, so you have beautiful boxes for Christmas, those of you who order. I have 4 left, four advents left only. 3 of them in the non-superwash base and 1 in the gold base. So if you did not sign up for an advent and you want to make sure you get one, you do that now, or they will be gone. Yeah, anything else? I have notes. Yes, I just want to, I'm done talking about knitting now. So if you're not interested in anything else about me or my life, you can, bye-bye, thank you for watching. But I will say, first of all, Lars and I went to Scotland. I did a vlog from over there. I fell in love with Scotland. I must say that the people there were so incredibly nice and warm and fun. And they have such a good sense of humor, very close to Danish kind of sarcastic, dark humor. I feel the same with the Scottish people, have the kind of the same humor. And the country was beautiful. We stayed a few days in Edinburgh, and we had such a good time there. It was a beautiful city, small, you can walk around everywhere. And if you have watched the show on Netflix called One Day, there are some scenes from that movie that I, just walking around in Edinburgh and knowing, if you really love that show, that some of the locations were there, that was just fun. And we saw Arthur's Seat, which is like a huge, is it a mountain? But it's not really a mountain, but like a hill, big hill. And just walking around was beautiful. It was raining a lot. It does that in Scotland. Bring an umbrella or a raincoat and it doesn't matter. And then we rented a car and we drove around Scotland for 3-4 days. hiking a little bit and just exploring. So it was like, and I'm lacking a word. We did so many things in such a short time, and we talked about it after that. Now it's fine, it's perfect, we had such a good time, but now we know what kind of places we would have wanted to have another day. And you don't know that beforehand, because even though you read all these books about Scotland and you watch YouTube movies about where to stay and what to go, people are different, and some of the things that I love might not be the same things that some traveling agent loves. But there were definitely places that I could have stayed for a longer period of time and just kept hiking out of the same area. And also just I've not been on any hiking trips before, and we didn't hike for that very long, maybe 2-3 hours a day, nothing big. But I just now, knowing myself a little bit more when it comes to hiking, I will definitely love to do longer hikes, and I will not be a tent person, but close. So I would just really love to explore that a little bit more. Lars likes to hike steep, like up the mountains. I'm never going to do that. I said I'm not a goat and I'm too old. Can we just please go straight? It's fine to go up a little bit, as long as it's not that steep that I'll be. If I can fall down and die, that's where I put that's my limit. So it's fine to go up a hill and kind of climb around a mountain, as long as it's not dangerous for me to trip, because I just can't deal with that. So I had to remind him I'm an old lady, and I don't know what it is, but the older I get, the more scared I am of falling. I have stopped skiing for the same reason, because I just got too scared. And it seems like the guys my age, they don't know they got older. They are still driving their mountain bikes in the forest and falling and breaking necks and legs and what have you. And Lars is the same way. He thinks he can still do everything. And actually he can, but I'm not comfortable. So we met somewhere in the middle. He was very nice. We hiked only where I was comfortable. So and I must say that the nature, the countryside, everywhere you go in Scotland, there's either a lake or some ocean or mountains, and a lot of sheep and goats and pines. And what is not to love? I loved every bit of Scotland. And I really recommend you go if you have the chance. Don't be scared. There's nothing scary or remotely dangerous about Scotland. So yeah, we had a good time. If you're interested, go watch the vlog, and you have 30 minutes of the best that we experienced in Scotland, and I loved it. And then I mentioned the show on Netflix called One Day. It is with Leo Woodall. I don't know his last name, but his name is Leo. His first name is Leo. And Ambika Mod. I think that's how you pronounce their names. I don't know. But he was also in White Lotus in the second season, and he is just gorgeous. But it is just such a love story, and it's so pretty and so gorgeous, and it's set in Edinburgh. And go, if you haven't seen it, watch it. And then I binged watched the whole Dallas Cowboy cheerleading show. It's 8 episodes, an hour an episode, and 2 nights, and I watched that whole show, and then I started over because maybe I missed something. It's all about the auditioning for the cheerleading season of 2023 for the Dallas Cowboys, and I loved that show. The only thing that really, 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 really bugs me about it is that these girls just don't get paid enough. They don't pay the cheerleaders, not even the cheerleading coach is not paid enough. And then you see these NFL players that just make, I think the smallest amount of money you make as a professional NFL player is above $800,000 a year. If that is the lowest you get paid, and the cheerleader gets paid like nothing, that's not good enough. That's just not. And they say, well, it's such an honor for these cheerleaders to be cheering. Yeah, but it's also an honor to be a football player. So maybe we should even that out a little bit more. So I find it really problematic that you have a female a boss. She's the daughter of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, saying that it's okay that they don't get paid a lot of money, the cheerleaders, because it's an honor for them to be cheering. We need to stop that and actually pay females the money that they are worth. So that was the only thing that really bugged me. It's like, pay these girls. They have to work full-time jobs besides cheering because they don't make enough money being a cheerleader. I thought when I saw that they would make a lot of money being cheerleaders, but don't even get me started on that. I just thought that was awful. Another show that I wanna recommend that I watched with Lars is Drops of God. It's on Apple Plus, and it's about this young woman who she lives in France, and her dad has he's like a wine expert, and it's all about the legacy of that winery and being a wine expert, blah blah. So it's about love and wine, and it's just a beautiful show. It takes place in France and Italy and Japan, and I really just recommend that show. It's beautiful, and I think that's it. If you have any shows that you want to recommend that I watch, I really need a good show, like a girly show, but not too corny. Something that's cute and binge-worthy and not scary, so that I can watch it when I'm alone and won't get scared. That would be great. I think that's all for now. I think I mentioned everything that I'm working on. I don't know exactly when I will be returning with another episode. I need to take a little time off during the summer, and the girls and I are traveling a little bit. And once we get back, I will pop in an episode later this summer. Maybe I will add some of the content of me sewing this cover, or maybe doing some other crafts besides knitting. If you're interested in that, at least let me know. And then I'll just see you around. I hope you'll have a beautiful, beautiful summer. If you need something from my shop, make sure to order that by Friday next week, because then I won't be at the studio for 10 days. I will be traveling a little bit, and I'll be home a little bit, but I'll just close down the studio and not go to work for at least 10 days. So if you need something before that, let me know. And apart from that, just have a great summer. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you whenever I see you.